Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
We have a very special guest that has been on the show several times. It's always a pleasure to have him. I'm going to go ahead and bring the brother in, man. Brother Holip, you are live, sir. What's going on with you?
Peace, bro. How you doing?
All right, brother. I can't complain. Yourself?
I'm good.
Good.
Hanging in there.
What's up? No doubt. Well, tonight's title of the broadcast is Who Are We Really, African American or Indigenous American, and what does it mean? Before we get into this conversation, and I wanted you on for a reason. I have been seeing and hearing a lot of chatter, on YouTube and other media outlets, and there's a huge debate and argument going on right now about this. You have your groups of our people who are, we're Moors or whatever. You have other groups now. We're Indigenous Americans, and then you have your group, your RBG group. We're Black and Green. We're African American. Then you have your Israelite brothers and everything like that. And all these groups seem to be clashing over identity and stuff like that. And my thing has been, I understand the importance of identity. And in fact, I want to quote something real quick from Dr. John Henrik Clarke, the illustrious speaker and professor. He says, "We are a people searching for a nationality. Your nationality must reattach you back to land, history, and culture." Okay? And I'm going to quote something from Alim Bey, who I follow and been listening to for a while, and he's even gotten in on this fray in these conversations. And he says, "Black might describe how you look, but does not necessarily tell you who you are." So, Brother Holip, I know, you are part of the BAIO. Before we get into this part of it, can you just explain, who you are, what you represent, and the BAIO, and we'll get more in depth into this conversation, sir.
Well, the BAIO stands for Black African Infrastructure Organization. Okay. Our basic concentration is on land, infrastructure, and nationhood.
Right.
And what Dr. Clarke said is true. A lot of people use what he said, and I noticed some groups that claim Native American use what he said as a way to justify that claim, but they don't really understand what it was that he was actually saying.
Right.
When you say you're African, you are making a political statement. Africa is filled with different countries. So Africa itself is not a nationality.
Right.
Your nation is the country that you come from, that nation. So that's what he meant by nationality. Now, if anything, it backs up our point. How are you going to have a nationality if you don't have a nation? And what is a nation? Because there's a lot of confusion on that. There's nations inside of America, legally.
Right.
You got the Cherokee Nation, this nation, blah, blah, blah nation. But the bottom line is, where's your land? Do you control the infrastructure of the land that you live on?
Right.
So we're not talking about having a nation, just some legal declaration, accepted by the United States of America as being a nation. We're talking about actually having control over land, infrastructure, resources, and everything else.
Right.
So that's what we're about. Also, and this is another point that I want to make, because a lot of people try to muddy the waters with this. There are 44 million black people here in America. That's just America. We're not even talking about the diaspora. I would say about 5%, 2.5 to 5% are going to be people actually involved in the process of nationhood. Now, that does not mean 2.5 to 5% is going to go over to the continent. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the people that's engaged in the process of nationhood, there could be people here in America, but who feel, you know what, we need something overseas. We need to establish something of our own, so I'm going to contribute to that. They could be right here in America working and staying in America, but still contributing to that process. I'm saying all told, I expect no more than like 5%, and that's being nice.
Right.
That's really being nice. I expect, so the vast majority of the people that's here in America are going to be right here in America. So nobody's going to take you. There's not going to be no reverse transatlantic slave trade. They're not going to take you and drag you back to Africa. Because I got the feeling that Negroes think that, first of all, they're wanted in Africa. And I've said this many times. If a Negro don't want nothing to do with Africa, I feel the same way about that as I do with homosexuality. More women for me.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and fight you. And because, first of all, I don't want you in Africa. Any Negro that has no affinity and no natural affection for his homeland, you can stay right where the hell you are. So nobody's trying to force anybody to do anything. So I just want to make that point. Because, you get people talking, like they try to put you into a back to Africa camp. And I have no problem with the back to Africa concept. But I don't want to be other stuff that goes with it and be misrepresented.
Right.
So our whole thing with the BAIO is you have to establish something of your own, and you have to do it outside of the confines of your enemy's land.
Right. Right.
Because we've already had numerous examples of what happens when you establish something inside of your enemy's land and it's thriving and successful. Your enemy tends to get a little bit pissed off. And strategically, you're in no position to do anything about it because you're inside the confines of their infrastructure and their land. So wouldn't it make sense to have something of your own?
Right.
That's just us.
Right. Right.
Fair enough.
Let me ask you this, Holip. I just want to say this. A lot of this came up. I mean, Wacka Flacka was on several radio shows. I think The Breakfast Club, and I think on Sway's radio show. And he said, I'm not black. I ain't African. I'm not black. I am Indigenous American or Native American. Also, the brother B.O.B, rapper from the South there, said the same thing. I ain't black, and things like this. So this started off. Started a fervor and a debate about this on several venues. Like I said, several media outlets, including YouTube, and people are literally getting into a back and forth, heated arguments about this thing. And one of the things that I looked at in these arguments, and I looked at comments that people were making, on YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that. And there's one thing I noticed about all of them. Nobody said in any of these arguments that whether you call yourself African American, whether you call yourself a Moor, whether you call yourself a Indigenous American, whether you call yourself a Martian from outer space, because there's a group, believe it or not, that is part of some type of intergalactic federation or some shit like that. I don't know, whatever. I don't care. What I'm saying is that none of these groups said that any of these labels will prevent a nightstick upside your head should the time come to that. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is, okay, fine. If you want to be from Lemuria or Atlantis, that's cool. But what are you doing about your current predicament? Like you said, well, where's your land at? So my thing is this: fine, if that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to claim, do that shit. But at the same time, when the cops pull your ass over late at night in a sundown town, it's not going to go the way you think it is going to go. They don't give a fuck where you. They don't care. I'm a citizen of Mars. Okay, well, nigga, I'm about to beat your Martian ass. You understand? So that's my thing about this. So when Wacka Flacka and B.O.B came out with this, I just want to know what your thoughts are on this and all these arguments that seem to go round and round in these intellectual masturbation sessions that seem to go on and on ad infinitum and never seem to address what the important shit. Could you speak to that?
Yeah. Where I'm coming from, if he says that he's not black and he's Native American, I'm like, hey, go forward, young man. I'm not. My thing is, I'm not going to debate somebody on what they feel they are. Like, if you can feel you're a Martian, you can feel you're from the planet Ritz, I could care less, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have time to be debating Negroes on facts. Like, whatever you feel you are, you be that, and you go forward and you do what you can. Like I said, I've said it this multiple times, like when it comes to the Native American thing. There's really no conflict between the BAIO and people that's nationalists or African-centered progressives and people who consider themselves Indigenous Americans. There's no conflict because you're not even involved. You're not in the wheelhouse of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
What you should be doing is smoking your peace pipe, going into your teepee, and trying to figure out how you can, win your country back from the white man. Right. What does that have to do with us? Like, that has nothing. That conversation is a conversation between indigenous Native American people and whoever they, their brethren and sisters are. We are into Africa. Mm-hmm. So there's no conflict. The only time there's a conflict is when they try to impose their philosophy on us. And I said, I find it curious. I don't see the BAIO and black nationalists going into indigenous and Native American forums trying to recruit anybody or making a case for nationhood. I don't see that happening. But I see a lot of people that call themselves Native American indigenous always hanging around black folks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that I don't understand. It's like, if you're about America and this is your land, then when you're going to get your land back and when you're going to concentrate on doing it right here in America, why are you all caught up in black nationalist business? Why are you so concerned about us trying to establish something in Africa? How does that affect you? How does it hurt you in any way? Right. So I'm above the fray when it comes to these battles because it's like, to me, it's irrelevant. Anybody that's not for nationhood at this particular stage of the game, in my opinion, is a fool, and I have no problem with fools doing what fools do. You stay doing whatever it is that you think you're doing here in America, and we'll do what we have to do in Africa.
Okay. B.O.B. had also mentioned something that I found interesting and I also found disturbing, and he's not the only person that has said this. There is a sentiment that seems to be growing in the midst of all this, whatever you want to call it, again, intellectual masturbation, that apparently maybe the transatlantic slave trade never happened.
I've heard that.
I find that troubling on several different levels, but let me get your thoughts on that before you do, though. But here's something else too. B.O.B. also thinks the Earth is flat, so I just want to throw that in there as well. But what's your thoughts on that? The transatlantic slave trade may not have happened according to some of our own people. I find it disturbing. What's your thoughts on that, sir?
Well, first of all, like you said, if you think the transatlantic slave trade didn't happen and you think the Earth is flat, do we really need to have a discussion going forward? Right. Like, are we going to debate facts? You have to have, if you're going to have a discussion, you have to have some guidelines and some foundation to the discussion. One of the things and this is something that is really shows you just how uneducated people are. One of the things that they use as a talking point as to why they say there was no transatlantic slave trade is the amount of people, the amount of black people there are in America. They say that not that many slaves were brought over to America.
Mm-hmm.
And they're absolutely right. But they don't understand what they're saying. They say that there was about 100,000, something like that, brought over to America. Now the question is, how many white people were here at the time when they brought those 100,000?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the percentages, now you can go back to the census. Anybody can go back to the first census that was taken. There was always about 10 to 13% of the population that was black African. So what they failed to do is they failed to look at population growth over time. There were not 44 million black people in 1776, you idiots. The population has grown over the course of time, just like there wasn't as many white people in 1776 as there are right now.
Right.
I mean, God damn it, man.
Right.
You know, these discussions really irritate me because it's like you having these discussions. It's like you trying to talk about brain surgery and you don't have no medical training.
Right.
Educated people should be involved in educated discussion, or at least know what the hell you're talking about if you want to jump into something. That's what the problem is. You got a bunch of ignorant people like this idiot. Anybody that thinks that the Earth is flat, I don't want to even have a discussion with you.
Yeah. Well, that I'm seeing this I'm seeing this in a lot of different circles lately, and like I said, you know, you think the Earth is flat, yet, like I said, the transatlantic slave trade possibly didn't happen. I don't get that one, but let's go ahead. I'm not
going to have a conversation over 2 + 2 and how it's 4. Like we're going to have a conversation about that.
Right. Exactly. Let me get Rob, man. You got some questions for Holip on this, man. This whole thing here, and then Tanae, and then we're going to take some callers. The phone lines are open, y'all. Press 1 if you want to talk.
No doubt.
Rob, what you got for Brother Holip, man?
Well, pleasure to have you back, bro. I mean, truly appreciate it. And I wanted to, make a comment about something that you had said earlier in reference to why certain demographics still want to kind of gravitate to us. I think, personally, a lot of it deems from, well, the one main thing is they still want the black dollars. You know what I'm saying? So, quite naturally, a lot of black folks will still gravitate to these, high-end items and spend all of this type of money. So, quite naturally, a lot of people will still find out what we're thinking or what certain people are thinking. And I think one of the main reasons why people stick around is because of that. You know what I'm saying? And what is your thoughts about that as far as, especially when we talk about from the materialistic side? It seems that for success to be deemed as you arrived, if you will, and for some African Americans or whoever you want to call them, they feel that they have to talk about these like red bottoms, or they have to talk about these like expensive cars and all of this ice and this, that, and the third. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I mean, that's the culture of America. Like, if you want to, if your whole thing is centered around, and your universe is centered around America, and that's your be all and end all, like I said before, if you one of these people that want to have a race war over Iowa and Arkansas, then you're gonna tend to be of that mindset, because that's what we define ourselves by here in America. What do you got? I got this, you don't have this, so therefore I'm better than you because I got this. That's just the way it is. You know, it's very materialistic, it's very individualistic. There is really no thought about the collective. There's really no thought about the future. It's all about what you can do and what you can get as an individual. And like I said, that is a way to go. Like, if you want to have that mentality, you can do that. You know, this is America. You can be self-centered and everything, you know, revolves around you, and you don't care about culture, you don't care about your people, and you can have a successful, financially successful life here in America. Only problem is, eventually, you know, like sometimes, occasionally, you're going to get treated like a nigga. You know, and usually that's when people get upset and they start crying and, oh, this is so unfair, whatever. You know, but that's what I consider collateral damage. You made a decision that you wanted to go a certain way. You didn't want to be attached to your people, and you didn't realize that, you know, no matter whether you want to accept yourself as being a part of your people, the world sees you as a part of your people. So if you have to deal with, you know, occasionally being treated like a nigga, then just deal with it. It just comes with the territory.
No
and
doubt.
Be happy.
Wow. Yeah, no doubt. Sine, you got anything for Brother Holip here in this conversation here?
I don't really have any questions. I just have a comment just about the subject matter in general. If you want me to comment on that.
Yeah, sure.
I just think that a lot of times people like Wacka Flacka, B.O.B, all these people saying whatever, the earth is flat, you're not black. I think those are trivial things. I think they make everything convoluted. And I think that is a part of our people's problem. I don't really give a shit what you call yourself. I don't care if you send off for one of those DNA things and find out that you're 93% Irish. Like, I don't give a shit about how the shit is split up, the percentage. I don't care about that. I think that we as a people, meaning black people, people of color, whatever you want to call it, people who are not white, I think we are so easily distracted, and that's what's so frustrating to me. And so then we have these type of conversations, and we don't fucking go nowhere. And I think that getting caught up in, oh, I'm Cherokee, my grandmama said we came from this place. Like, who gives a shit? At the end of the day, we all have the same problem. But really what we should be focusing on is the origin, the ethnicity, the culture, whatever, the nationality of our fucking problem, because that comes from the same place. Doesn't matter if I'm light-skinned, brown-skinned, if I got woolly-ass hair or curly-ass hair, like, at the end of the day, we have the same problem. We need to be focusing on the problem, but we still are differentiating ourselves. Back in the day when I was in elementary school, it was just as simple as light skin, dark skin. Now you got people saying, well, I'm Dominican, well, I'm Haitian, well, like, we're black and we got a fucking problem, and we need to deal with the problem. So for me, when I hear people say, oh, I'm so-and-so, it don't bother me at all. Like, what are you doing about your station in life right now? What are you doing about the people that look like you? What are you doing for them right now? You can call yourself Oscar the goddamn Grouch and you came from Sesame Street. I don't care. Like, that's none of my business. I don't have any concern about that. What I'm saying is, what are you doing to help people that look like you, that walk like you, and that are treated like you? Like,
can we do some business?
So wrapped up in the wrong shit, you know?
Yeah. Can we build? Like, not for nothing. And I think that's the thing. How, like, these, like I said, these conversations that seem to go round and round in circles. Like, I've seen people that, like, this, people damn near come to blows over this shit, over this whole, you know, this whole Indigenous American versus African American label. People damn near coming to blows over this shit. And my thing is is this another way, basically, put it like this. Let me just, in a nutshell, is this yet another way to have these arguments forever and not do nothing? At the end of the day,
of course,
we're going to have this debate. I don't want to work with you because you call yourself a Moor. I don't want to work with you because you call yourself Indigenous American. I don't want to fuck with the Intergalactic Federation because I ain't got a ship. All this shit just so we don't do nothing. At the end of the day,
man,
you understand what I'm saying? So
you just touched on a running theme. If anybody has seen my YouTube videos, What you just touched on is a running theme. I call it the Negro stalling tactics.
Yes, I have seen that. I have that.
And
so,
this is Negro stalling tactics is everything that you're talking about that's running rampant. I'll give you a ridiculous conversation that was happening recently on a post with me and Carla. But first, I want to say something about what the sister said. She sums up exactly what the BAIO is all about. And the BAIO, now, if anybody can tell me another group where you can have Christians, Muslims, Hebrews, and atheists who will get together and band under land, infrastructure, and nationhood. When you go to the BAIO, we are not talking about anything but land, infrastructure, nationhood. And we got all different types of people with all different types of ideologies in that group. Nobody ever comes into the group preaching about trying to recruit somebody into their religion, because that stuff is irrelevant. The only thing that we're concerned about is nationhood. And when you have a group like that and you have people in it that's concerned about important things like controlling the infrastructure and controlling the context of their reality, then you don't waste your time with stupid stuff like this. Like one of the posts me and Carla was in, dude was actually having a conversation with us about the African way of taking a shit versus the Western, the European way of taking a shit.
Wow.
I'm like, we actually having a discussion about this?
Wow.
These are the things that occupy these people's mind. Like, I posted another thing. I don't know if you saw this. I posted about the fantasy about how interracial relationships is destroying the black community. That fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. I did see that. Yes, I saw it.
It's a bunch of bullshit that backed up by nothing, backed up by no statistics, and I put the statistics out.
Right. I saw it, bro. Mm-hmm.
Why do people think that just because something exists that it's a problem? I know that, in this world, there are scorpions that if they bite you, they can kill you. There's black mambas. There's very deadly poisonous snakes. They do exist. Are they a problem for me here in Brooklyn?
Right.
Exactly.
Is this something that I have to be concerned about?
Right.
No doubt.
There's a black man who decided, you know what, I want this white woman to be my woman. Is that affecting me? Why is it just because something exists, everybody thinks that it's a problem? And statistically, I can prove it's not a problem, because of 86% of married black men, out of married black men, 86% of them are married to black women. Out of married black women, 94% of them are married to black men. So for the most part, we are with each other. But you would never believe it if you turn on YouTube. You would never believe it if you turn on Facebook.
No,
according to these idiots and these Negro stalling tactics, one of the biggest epidemics that's sweeping through our community is black men wearing dresses. Really?
Oh boy, yeah.
Really? Like when I go outside, what is it? Maybe I'm in Brooklyn. I'm living in Flatbush. But can y'all tell me in your area how many black men you see in dresses when you go outside? What's the percentage?
Yeah. I don't see them in Jersey City.
Zero.
Yeah, I don't see it in Jersey City. Yeah.
See, the reason why I'm saying all of this, there's a reason why I'm saying all of this, and this is the reason. You're not going. See, this may be politically incorrect, and I have to just say it because it's just what it is.
Go ahead. It's real talk all the time.
You're not going to unite with these people. You're not going to do anything with these people because these people are not interested in uniting. These people are not interested in progress. They're not interested in solutions. What they're interested in is complaining, bitching, moaning, and staying in the same goddamn situation perpetually for the rest of their existence. The people that are trying to solve this and actually come up with solutions are getting together and doing that. And what you need to do is get yourself in a circle of people who's about important shit. And I would suggest the BAIO. That's
right.
just me. Because I don't see any other organization where you have multiple ideologies getting together under one banner of land, infrastructure, nationhood. My brother, Minister Dawood, is a member of the Nation of Islam. My brother Kala is a Christian. There's other people in there who don't believe in God, period. Mm-hmm. How is it that we can all get together and look at each other as brothers and defend and protect each other?
Right.
How is that possible? Because none of that other stuff really means anything. Your religion is your own personal business.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
But we can all get together and say, you know what, land, infrastructure, nationhood is the way to go. And to me, that's where we should be focusing our concentration on. Like I said, Wacka Flacka, I don't even know who the hell that is. To be honest with you, I don't know these people because I don't waste my time with irrelevant bullshit.
It was war they wanted, and